So let's discuss the structure of the white paper. First, title or headline. Despite this is official document, it's always better to have a very catchy headline or title that conveys the specific purpose of the white paper, and they will catch attention of the audience or stakeholders. So for example, if you use just very broad increase in healthcare in Toronto, that definitely introduce a problem, but what is the specific of that? Because usually you can find a number of such topics. So instead of using this broad increasing healthcare in Toronto, just use increasing healthcare in Toronto, an analysis of the benefits of fresh air, yoga places, or whatever. So do this very clarification or specification of the problem. Then always include table of content, because it's very natural, but it will help the reader to understand the matter, or for example, to find the necessary information if he or she or they need it. So table of content, really good step from your side. Then abstract. Abstract is something that introduces in general the idea and the results of the white paper. So for example, you can see here that it was created as for the teaching purpose, so I simply take it. And you can see there is example in case of the companies using some technologies. Yes, it shows what directly you find at the result of writing of this white paper. So try to be very specific about the outcomes. Try to show your main ideas, what you have reached, because usually if you present later your white papers and the person is simply googling or trying to evaluate different white papers, so this is the first things that the reader will read and understand. And actually, the main idea of the abstract is to make the promotion of your white paper. So then the reader can understand the matter and decide, is it really worth reading further, if I or other people should invest their time into reading your white paper. So try to be very specific with the very clear outcomes and with the good concentration on the general idea of this white paper. For example, you can see the example from the some of the white papers. You can see that in general it is very broad, but it concentrates on the concrete decisions or solution proposals that they find while writing this white paper. So very concrete things. Please try to avoid, once more, very general things, because otherwise your reader will not be interested to understand how this white paper differs from the other types of documents, or what is the concrete specific of this white paper. Try to make it catchy, clear, and very reasonable for continuing of reading. Then introduction. So usually in the introduction part, you introduce your white paper. You show the reason why you start doing that. You can slightly try to show the problem, but actually you have the problem section when you study this problem correctly. But in the introduction section, you just stress and point why it is necessary to study this problem, why it is necessary to pay attention on some of the elements of this problem, and make the overall and very broad and very general intro to the white paper, to this document. So you can see this is one of the examples of the introduction about the tourist industry. So it's simply showing the necessity of the research. Then in the then you are trying to describe your problem. Then in this problem description section, you are trying to show and to study very, very carefully what is this problem about. So while trying to prepare yourself for writing white paper, just try to ask these questions. So why it is this topic or the problem? Why not other problem? Why this topic or the problem important for the society, for the city, whatever you take? How does the topic or problem solution directly affect the audience? What will be the benefits for making this real deep research? What was done before with this problem? And in our task, we'll definitely concentrate on the two parts. The first part, you will describe the problem in general, and the second part, you will localize or specify this problem in terms of the Lviv situation. Then solutions. The solution part is and solution section is actually the part when you have the list of your solutions and when you have arguments why the solutions will be good result of actually, so sorry, well, the solutions will be a good steps to be implemented. So please remember that once more, solutions should be outcome of the problem research. So try to not to bring the solutions of the other people that can't probably work in your situation, and please provide all feasible solutions as the results of your research, and try to provide information about the costs that are associated with the your concrete solutions. Try to show at least who will pay, what money should be a part of this problem. Even if you do not take very concrete sums, because sometimes it's very difficult in the complex problems to evaluate it, but at least you need to show what is the price of this or that step. Then the implementation plan. Here you should mainly describe how all these necessary steps should be done to implement your solutions. You can do very concrete implementation plan with the years and months, but in general, it's really hard. So in general, what we can see from the implementation plans that they consist of the sequencing, and they just show in the logic. For example, if you have the second or the third step that should be definitely done before the first step, so you should mainly point it out. For example, in terms of the conflict resolution, it's usually considered that you should do the security steps first, then economic step for second, so the economic development, and only then come to the policy making in terms of the elections, in terms of the democratization. Otherwise, your idea of the conflict resolution will not work. So here it is important to show what should be done in the first section, then in the second, and then third. So this implementation plan is really necessary, because if you are preparing white paper for the policymakers, they will simply take this plan and then do the votings, do different laws, do different documents that will be voted and that will be implemented. So they need to know the logic of the process. Then the conclusion. In the conclusion part, you simply make the conclusion and summarizing of the white papers. You're just stressing what you find out, and for example, some further problems that could suddenly occur. And this part should also stress why your mentioned solutions should work. While this time we will solve this problem and we succeed in that. So references. In the references section, it's very important to use, definitely as in any of the document, to do the citations and references. So please, you can use whatever style you want. I usually use APA style and recommend to do this, but whatever you want, you can use it. And please make a difference with a citation and reference. So citation is what you need to present in the text, especially when you are citing or quoting somebody, especially when you put some numbers, or you put some figures, or you, for example, do some calculations that are based on some data. So everything that is not yours should be in the text, and you should quote or cite it. And then in the reference at the end of the text, you should describe more clearly the where you done this information. Please take a very special note that in the text, it's not only necessary to cite and to show that that you have taken this quote from the book, but for example, to put the exact page of the book where you have taken this quote, because definitely if the author that you're quoting just made a very short statement, and you just put in old book, it will be very difficult for the reader, for the stakeholder, to find what exact page, so what exactly author mean, because sometimes you probably cannot understand correctly this sentence, or from the other part, for example, I could be interested in continuing to read this story, and that is why I need the clear pages and clear numbers where I can find it. And in case you are doing this, for example, from the web sources, and if you can't find pages on the web pages, so you are not doing that. But please pay attention to put directly the pages that you are quoting. And the final step is the design. So you can indeed increase the readability of the document by including headers and page numbers, by clear and specific heading and subheadings, so by different figures, putting some figures and illustrations, and doing numbered lists. Everything that can help to get to these very necessary proposals and words directly, so please include this. And table of content, once more, this is one of the important part, because it can specify what exactly you can find in your document. So here you can see some of the photos from the white papers, and you can see that it's very, very concrete in terms of the content. You can usually also include some appendix with the data, with some of the visualization, if you have them, and if you're not putting them on text because they are really long, so you can do it in the format of appendix. Or for example, you can also do some content like structure, as you can see here. So not this, you're not mentioning here, for example, 1.1 or 1.2, but nevertheless, you can find the exact page and follow it. You can also do the design of your research paper, of your white paper. You can see you can include different photos and text, so the reader will be really interested to go deep with your proposal. So thank you for that. If you do really good steps and if you follow this information, you will definitely have a nice white paper. Once more, it is really important to use this format for the policy making and to make a reasonable research before you announce them decisions. So usually try to use this format as much as possible.